I am Commodore Suleiman Dahu, the Master of Ceremony for today's event. On behalf of the Chief of the Naval Staff, the D of the Nigerian Import Bank, and the National Inland Waterways Authority, I have the honor and privilege to welcome you to this historic event, which is for the flag off of the survey and charting of the lowest rivers, Niger and Benue.
The governor of Kogi State and special guest in this occasion, Ajaokuta, and on the very important project that Commodore has established. But let me recognize our principal partners in this. First, representing the Nigerian Navy, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ajaokuta, the Managing Director of National Inland Waterways Authority, Mr. George Mogalu, and while begging to stand on existing protocol, I must also recognize the reason why we're here. The chairman of the Sealing Consortium, Mrs. Daphne Shalpo. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I must take a minute to give a background of what the Sealing project is all about. About 10 years ago, Neximba came up with the idea of setting up a coastal
remove it from your stand.
Maritime operation to service West Africa and Central Africa in our bid to grow intra-Africa trade. And that gave birth to the Sealing Promotional Company. Originally, it was supposed to be a West Africa-led initiative with ECOWAS and FEWASI, which is the Association of All National Chambers of Commerce and Industry. That didn't work out so well, so we had to change strategy and bring the private sector in a consortium, in a partnership to set up a consortium of ship owners, private ports, and so on and so forth, other maritime operators. And that again gave birth to the Sealing Consortium Company. Now, along the way, we also identified that there is the need to not only do the coastal operation, but help in decongesting the ports and also create an avenue how we can get out bulk cargo commodities out of Nigeria. And that is when the idea of using the inland waterways came about. But the inland waterways had challenges. What? We don't even have navigational charts for them. And we now approach NIWA, who are the owners of the waterways, and the Nigerian Navy, who are the only ones that can chart and survey the rivers for us, in another partnership, this time intergovernmental, between agencies and ministries of government. And I must tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this kind of collaboration is what will bring the much needed development in Nigeria and economic growth. First, on the one hand, collaboration between government agencies, and on the other hand, collaboration between government and the private sector. And I'm proud to say that this Sealing project is one that exhibits that possibility, where government is involved and the private sector is involved. So I would like to thank first the Ministry of Mines and Steel, another ministry that is inside this collaboration, for giving us an approval of a partnership framework with Ajaokuta Steel Company for the use of this river port to meet this project needs. This will facilitate inland waterways operations for bulk commodity trade, like solid minerals, which Kogi State, you all know, is very strong in bulk solid minerals. We must also thank the Ajaokuta Steel Company and Your Excellency, the host community, who have welcomed us warmly and have been part of this partnership from the beginning. I must go back especially to thank the Chief of Naval Staff for the cooperation and willingness to work with us in getting this project off the ground. And I must also thank the Hydrography Department of the Nigerian Navy, specifically Rear Admiral Bokak, who has been very professional along with his team and patriotic in this endeavor. Let me also thank the Managing Director of NIWA and his board for the very quick response when we brought the idea into being. The approval to use the waterways first, and then went ahead to provide also navigational equipment like buoys and security boats to ensure that the charting and navigation is being handled in a safe environment. So we thank you for the partnership, NIWA. So the sea-link will enhance economic diversification, which is in the forefront of President Muhammadu Buhari's government economic blueprint. Okay, and it will also enhance Nigeria's readiness for AFCFTA. Trade without logistics is almost non-existent because you can't move goods out of your immediate locality. So the sealing project will go a long way in ensuring that we are able to participate effectively in regional and global trade. And before I get to the finances, I must mention that one other party that has been very instrumental to this project is Afrexim Bank. They became so interested in it that from the outset, they gave a grant of $350,000 for us to purchase the navigation equipment and other equipment that are needed for this survey. And to add to that, last week in Delta, we signed a $400 million memorandum of agreement with Afrexim Bank in support of the sea-link project, where for fleet management and fleet supply, port upgrades, and part of the navigational, and for instance where dredging is needed, we can go into that facility. So we have to thank Afrexim Bank for being part of this program, and it is our intention, together with other consortium partners and other agencies, to see this to a close. We want to, by the next quarter, or first quarter of 2020, to have the first sail from this jetty onto the high seas. So I'd like to emphasize Nexim's determination to grow Nigeria's intra-Africa trade, which today stands at between 15 and 18%. And that is, by the time you even take out oil trade, that is G2G allocations to Ghana and other West African countries, it drops to as low as almost 2%. Okay, at least the formal one. So what we intend to do is create the facilities that enhance trade for Nigerian companies. for the benefit of the economy as a whole. So saying that, with that said, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, first, let me once again welcome you all to this August. By the way, this is the first event since the setting up of CLA that has had a formal launch, which for us signifies that we are getting to the point where we're almost operational. Okay, so this is the first formal launch of the survey and charting of the lower Niger River to enable proper navigation into the international water. So thank you very much and welcome to this.
Executive Governor of this state, the Chief of Naval Staff, my own chairman, the chairman of the Board of Directors of the National Inland Waterways Authority, my brother, the MD of the Exim Bank, the chairperson of the Sealing Project, meet me, Your Excellencies, to stand on the already well-established protocol. Let me join the previous speaker in welcoming everyone to this very important occasion of the official flag-off of the survey and charting of the lower Niger, rivers of Niger and Benue being executed by us of the National Inland Waterways Authority and the Nigerian Navy Hydrographic Office. As you all know, the project is inspired by the Sealing Implementation Committee and funded by the Exim Bank. I'd like to express my joy of the eventual flag-off of this project. For NIWA, this project is a welcome development as it gives a major impetus to the authorities' efforts towards the rapid development of inland waterway transportation in Nigeria. The objective of the Sealing project, which is to provide and deepen direct maritime linkages between Nigeria and between African countries, thereby catalyzing Nigeria's gross domestic product growth, attraction of foreign direct investments, creating highly needed jobs, and boosting internal and inter-African trade is quite noble and in time with the statutory responsibilities and objectives of the authority. It is my hope, therefore, that this project will inspire other private sector investors to see the abundant opportunities in the Nigeria inland waterway transportation sector. Before proceeding further, I'd like to place on record the appreciation of the authority for the support and encouragement we have received from our Minister, Right Honorable Rotimi Chibika Mechi, our Minister of State, Senator Benue Saraki, our Permanent Secretary, Dr. Magdalene Ajabu, and directors of the ministry for the encouragement towards the realization of this Sealing project. I'd like also to give special credit to the chairperson of Sealing Implementation Committee, Mrs. Daphne Shaw-Holman, whose infectious optimism and patriotism has driven this project to this point. Also worthy of special commendation is my brother and friend, the Managing Director of Exim, Mr. Babello. I'd like to thank him and the Exim Bank for providing the much needed funds for the execution of this project. One of the major challenges of inland water transportation in Nigeria today is the paucity of funds to attend to the numerous inland waterway transportation demands, which are all competing for attention all at the same time. The intervention of Exim Bank in the Sealing project has helped the National Authority accelerate the inland water transportation sector. I also want to thank very sincerely the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal, for the participation and cooperation with the Nigerian Navy Hydrographic Office to ensure the successful execution of this project. The National Inland Waterways Authority is looking forward to future cooperation with the Nigerian Navy to extend the mapping and charting of other inland waterways of the country that are presently unmapped. At this juncture, I'd like to affirm my personal and the National Inland Waterways commitment to the successful execution of this project
and to attain the overall objective of the sealing project. The National Inland Waterways Authority, under my watch, will grant any request within our resources that will guarantee the success and commercial viability of this project. Let me seize this opportunity to elaborate on some of the NIWA's recently concluded and ongoing projects, which are designed to directly improve the navigability of the nation's inland waterways and also enhance the efficiency and safety of navigation. Some of these projects include the survey and installation of marine navigation buoys from Baro to Onisha. Plans are afoot to extend the buoys to Burutu. Bathymetric survey, including side scanning and sub-bottom profiling, and installation of buoys of 2 inland waterways routes in Lagos, namely Badagry to Ikorodu and Marina to Badagry, is presently ongoing. The authority is also presently installing permanent electronic tide gauges with telemetric and weather capabilities at various locations across the country. The authority has also purchased 2 state-of-the-art hydrographic survey vessels to guarantee continuous survey of all the inland waterways. We have also purchased about 20 patrol boats and ambulances to enhance the safety of navigation on our waterways. NIWA has commenced the provision of pilotage services within the inland waterways of our country. Currently, we are building and equipping search and rescue stations across the country. Implementation of inland waterway transportation code to improve the safety and efficiency of the inland waterway transportation in Nigeria is currently ongoing. We have purchased several barges, tugboats, houseboats, etc. to improve on the fleet capacity of our authority. We have constructed and still constructing some inland river ports and jetties across the country. We have also provided cargo handling equipment to some of the ports we have completed and some of the ones that are still undergoing construction process. Let me at this point welcome everyone once again and to assure us all of our continuous support and success of this particular sailing project. Thank you once again and God bless you.
The MD of NIWA better with another. As the MD of NIWA takes his seat, may I now have the honor and privilege to request the chairperson of the Sea Link Consortium in the person of Mrs. Daphne Shell-Holman come forward and give her goodwill message. Madam, you have the floor.
Permit me all to stand on a already established and existing protocol. My message was actually captured by the MD of Nexim Bank's message. He touched on a lot of what I'm going to say, but maybe I'll say them in a little bit of a detail. My delight this afternoon and honor is to be part of this auspicious event and milestone in the history of maritime and logistics development in Nigeria. This is an event that is bound to reverberate not just in Nigeria or in the sub-region, but also continentally. For nearly 10 years, I think it's even a little bit more than 10 years, from envisioning, conceptualization, to this present actualization, there has been back-breaking and sacrificial hard work because our choices of partners were deliberate. We knew who we were looking for. We would go to your office, have a chat with you for 30 minutes, and we would have taken a decision of whether to go with you or not. We went to Nexim Bank, and the first discussion we had was on export trade and export, man export group. And we knew that it has to be Nexim because part of us that were conceiving the project were members of staff of Nexim Bank. So you can see that we were actually following a natural trend. We knew the comments they were making in meetings. They had attended meetings sub-regionally with us, and we could see the zeal and passion that they wanted to establish something different, because sealing is entirely different. And the reason why it's different is we have 26 consortium members, and each one of them comes to the table with a different way. One of them is here as a port owner, a private port owner. That does not mean that we did not include Nigerian Ports Authority. No, we did. But Nigerian Ports Authority is only for statutory support. Because you cannot run a project like this without having statutory support and political will. We went to Nimasa, not because Nimasa has to do ABCD for us, no. But by the time the dredging, the charting and mapping is done, areas will be identified for wreck removals, and it is under the constitutional responsibility of Nimasa. So we would want NIWA to now relate or cooperate or collaborate with Nimasa so that that job gets done expressly. So for as long as they are on the consortium, we saddle them with those responsibilities. We have NIWA, and NIWA has been part of us right from the beginning. I thank you, my brother, for all the projects that you have done. They've always been on our mind, but we knew that our representatives, or your representatives on the consortium, are always reporting back home and telling you that these are major challenges. Now, why were we very, very concerned about getting hydrographic, bathymetric, and hydrological surveys done? Because if we don't map and have admiralty charts, how can we navigate? Are we going to navigate in uncharted waters? What will the world say? Because shipping is international. Whatever you decide to do in shipping, you must make sure that somebody else who is the overseas loading broker sees the admiralty chart and can tell the ship owner that channel is safe for navigation. So it's to get the buy-in of not just the ship owners and ship operators, but also investors who will be willing to invest in our client. So we are getting in investments. We are also getting to open up the hinterland and deepen international trade. Because that is one major reason why Nigeria is not in trade. We keep talking about trade facilitation. What are we facilitating? Where is the cargo that is moving to international markets? I have been in Nigeria Shippers Council for 32 years, and I have always spoken to shippers. I have clusters of shippers all over Nigeria and within the West and Central African sub-region. All these 25 countries are crippled because there is no access, there is no connectivity. So you are not taking your trade to the international market. So how can you compete? Because the cost of landing is going to be high. Somebody else is carrying it for you. You are not carrying it. Secondly, they are not very sure of allowing their vessels or even the small barges to come into your inland waterways. Now it surprises me because when the British came, they came for slave trade. They came for their own trade. They came for raw materials. They came to evacuate. What did they do? Their first port of call was Burutu because it was an access. They came into Lokoja and settled in Lokoja because it's a confluence. They can go from Lokoja to Yauri. They can go from Lokoja to Yola. They can go from Lokoja to Burutu, Onitsha. So they scavenged everything because they had access. As soon as the British left, we covered our boats and our Jodu bottom, like we say in the Fulfulde language. Jodu bottom is the canoe that you sit on. If you don't sit properly, it will capsize. So we say, sit down very well, Jodu bottom. And we covered everything and set them aside and left them there. And we allowed our channels to be silted as if we were not one time the choice place for British trade. Our cotton went into UK to industrialize UK. Our palm oil went through the same source Because where the palm oil is being grown is very far from the sea. But there is an inlet. The British made it possible. Now, the British is housing the Hydrographic Office of the world. The International Hydrographic Office is in London. So the British will be surprised today that we are flagging off a channel mapping and channel charting. They will say, finally, Nigeria has woken up. And I thank these gentlemen that are here. I thank the Chief of Naval Staff. Since we signed the Memorandum of Understanding last year, and like I said earlier, it's deliberate, because we sat down and thought it through. Who would help us do this thing? Who has constitutional responsibility? We don't just go to people. So we identified the Navy as having that responsibility, and we followed it through with a Memorandum of Understanding. And like I said, Nexim Bank has responsibility for export and import trade. It's an export and import bank. So if goods are to move, then Nexim Bank should piggyback those goods and take them out. How can they take them out without a means of transportation that would provide volumes, that would provide cost reduction? Sea-Link, from our analysis, in the first year of operation, will reduce the cost of transportation by 50%. And I'm not joking. You know, when we make statements like this, we know that if we have 10 barges, and in the third year, we are working on ramping up to 50 barges, so that all we see by the waterside is anchors dropping and anchors lifting. This flagging today has given life to my kids. After seeing all the talking in the public service, and indeed, even the private sector is emulating government. We sit at meetings until 4 a.m. trying to cross the T's and dot the I's. And especially when you are negotiating with French countries or Lusophonian countries, you must sit down and make sure that that A means A. And you keep talking, and every year, year in, year out, nothing gets done. And we said to ourselves, no more talking. We now want to do. And whoever is going to join on the bandwagon and work with us is ready to come along. But we must identify what skills he's bringing to the table and what he's going to table before us. When I talk about creation of job opportunities, particularly in seafaring and shore support, it's enormous. If we have 50 barges, we can employ instantaneously 5,000 youths, directly and indirectly. So this is a project to be pursued. It's not for the project to come to you appealing for support. No. Each one of us has a responsibility. The community here has given us tremendous support. Honestly, if I finish this comment without commending the chief of Ajaokuta, I will be unfair. The man stood his ground. He was behind us from beginning to end. He showed us what we could do. Even when people were trying to make it difficult for us, he intervened and said, you cannot do that. Let them do it. It's for our benefit. That's the stand I would want every Nigerian to emulate regarding sealing. I don't want to go to what World Bank and others are saying about us. But it's important for me to underscore 3 issues that were mentioned in the UNCTAD 2021 Maritime Review on logistics. Port infrastructure is critical. That's why we chose Ajaokuta. Because Ajaokuta is going to be the hub, the district center, the district park, represent everything that Nigeria would want to see in marine transportation of today. Then shipping connectivity, which the vessels will provide. Then the necessary structure that is key to offloading and discharging. To offloading unloading, rather. Now, it is very important because the area of trade facilitation and why it suffers is at the point of moving the cargo from where it is in the vessel to the key apron, and then moving it from the key apron to the owner of the cargo. But if you are able to nip in that aspect of logistics, you would have no problems, because you now create a streamlining. You would also make sure that you institute an electronic system that determines when the cargo ought to be discharged and when the cargo ought to be moved out. So nobody keeps his cargo at the key apron or at the stacking area waiting for someone else. Decisions will be taken 2 weeks before the vessel, if the cargo arrives. And at the level of discharge, the cargo will seamlessly move out of the premises. This point at which we are is the Julius Berger jetty. This is jetty 2. But it's instrumental in our choice. You know, when Julius Berger came here and they were building Ajaokuta, they did a preliminary survey and they discovered that this is the best point. If it is the best for Julius Berger, shouldn't it be the best for Nigeria? Oh. As far as I'm concerned, this flag off would fast track the commencement of coastal operations and cargo lightering services, which will facilitate current port decongestion exercise following the imminent deployment of 5,000 tonners of new belt vetted classed vessels with self-handling gear to be matched with befitting port bases in Ajaokuta, in Burutu, in Onitsha for the time being. It has been reported that Nigeria seeks to develop $1.2 billion export capacity for states to make the African Continental Free Trade Area a reality. How do we move the commodities without sealing? How do we deepen economic integration nationally, sub-regionally, and continentally without sealing? Sealing and its strategic partners have asked and answered these questions. Hence, today's event. I thank you, CNS, for making this possible. Thank you all for listening.
The presentation by the chairperson of the Sea-Link project. Can we please appreciate that once more with another resounding round of applause? What our good message has demonstrated is the fact that Nigerians are go-getters. The hydrographer of the Navy, please come forward and give us a technical brief of the survey program. The hydrographer, sir.
The special guest of honor, sir, the executive governor of Kogi State, Alaji Yaya Bello, the Honorable Minister of Defense, ably represented by the Director of Navy, Minister of Defense, Dr. Haradem Fashino, Chief of the Naval Staff, Chairman of Naval Board, former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral. Please permit me to stand on already established protocol. I am Rear Admiral C.E. Okafor, the hydrographer of the Nigerian Navy. It is with great delight and honor that I present the technical details associated with the survey and charting of the lower rivers Niger and Benue on this special occasion. Before I go on, please permit me to state that one of the cardinal responsibilities of the Nigerian Navy, which has been enshrined in the Armed Forces Act Cap 820, Law of the Federation of Nigeria, is making of chart and coordinating all national hydrographic survey. Over the years, the Nigerian Navy has developed the capacity to conduct both independent and joint survey in any part of Nigerian waters, and also produce associated charts and nautical products to meet international standards. This explains why the partnership between the Nigerian Navy, Exim Bank, and the National Inland Waterways Authority for this survey campaign is a step in the right direction. This is because there is adequate professional competence to ensure that the survey campaign we are about to flag off today leads to the production of internationally acceptable navigational charts and products that will facilitate safe and increased navigation within rivers Niger and Benue. As you already know, rivers Niger and Benue have been and still remains very critical natural asset to Nigeria. These rivers connect the north to the south and also connect Nigeria to the world through the Atlantic Ocean. Therefore, this survey campaign would help to create a safe, navigable route along these rivers, enable mariners, especially cabotage vessels, and of course, sealing consortium vessels to convey goods and services to and from various parts of Nigeria, and even to and from various parts of the world. This obviously will lead to improved economic development for Nigeria. Additionally, special charts that would be produced from this survey will help the Nigerian Navy and other maritime security agencies to effectively patrol these areas for improved maritime security. In view of the strategic importance of these rivers, this survey campaign will cover a total area of approximately 932 square kilometers, which stretches from Jimata in Lokoja, Kogi State, to Brutu in Delta State, covering a total distance of 529 kilometers. This vast body of water will be jointly surveyed by the Nigerian Navy, National Inland Waterways Authority, and Exim Bank, as has already been explained. I know that most of us here are familiar with what hydrography is. But for avoidance of doubt, hydrography, according to the International Hydrographic Organization, involves the measurement and description of the physical features of oceans, the seas, coastal areas, lakes, and rivers, as well as with the prediction of their changes over time for the primary purpose of safety of navigation and in support of all other maritime activities, including economic development, security and defense, scientific research, and environmental protection. This means that the joint survey team will engage in the collection of a variety of information within this vast body of water. I will request special guests of honor and other special dignitaries that would be invited to flag off this very event. On your way, please stop by to see the charting scheme of the entire survey area, so you can appreciate the volume of work that is to be done. The information that would be acquired during this survey includes but not limited to depth, position, keel clearance of submerged features, bridge clearance, changes in water gradient, seabed and riverbed samples and analysis, coastlining, and measurement of conspicuous sharp objects, as well as other features that are relevant for safety of navigation. It will also involve the collection of other relevant geospatial and non-geospatial data sets like tidal changes, rate and volume of water flow, as well as rate of siltation, sub-bottom features, and riverbanks features, among others. The collected data will be processed at the Nigerian Navy Hydrographic Office for the purpose of producing general paper and electronic navigational charts. It is estimated that at the end of this survey, 11 paper charts and corresponding cells of electronic navigational charts will be produced. Additionally, other ancillary hydrographic products that would facilitate prediction of changes in the depth of available waters and changes in all other features relevant to navigation over time will also be produced. Please note that production of charts and other nautical products at the Nigerian Navy Hydrographic Office will be going on almost simultaneously as the field survey data are acquired. Apart from the nautical products that would be used for navigation along the rivers, other data would be processed in different formats to fill existing gaps in Nigeria's National Geospatial Database. Some of these databases will be subsequently used to produce specialized charts for security operations and laying of submarine cables and pipelines. There will also be other data sets that will aid further exploration and exploitation of sub-bottom minerals, harvest of natural resources, and conservation of living species in the water body, as well as those living in the gallery forest that beautifies the bank of these great rivers. These and other acquired redundant data sets will be archived in different formats and models at the National Hydrographic Data Management System, that is in the Nigerian Navy Hydrographic Office Geospatial Data Center, to form part of the Nigeria's marine geospatial data infrastructure. They will be made available to different government agencies on demand for different uses in support of their day-to-day activities, and also for coastal zone management, marine governance, and economic development, among others. It is hoped that when these products are available, marine governance and operations within our waters will be enhanced. At this juncture, special guests of honor, sir, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to acknowledge the strategic guidance and support received from the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Eze Gambo, Admiralty Metal, which have enabled the Nigerian Navy Hydrographic Office to acquire core competence of international repute in hydrographic survey and nautical charting. Sir, we will ensure that every aspect of this survey and the associated products meets international standards set by the International Hydrographic Organization. I am also grateful to the leadership of the National Inland Waterways Authority and Nexim Bank for fostering this historic operation. You have set the pace, which we know that more inter-agency collaborations, not just in the field of hydrography and charting alone, but also in other important areas of national interest. Please be rest assured that we will tenaciously uphold this burden of trust and confidence that you have reposed on us in the best manner possible. To the joint survey team out there, I know that you have what it takes to deliver on this project. I therefore charge you to exercise the highest level of professionalism throughout this survey campaign. the host community where we are currently is, and those that we are still going to transit across. I thank you in advance for your support. On this note, special guests of honor, sir, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank all other distinguished guests gathered here for not honoring our invitation. We are indeed grateful. And as it said in the Nigerian Navy, onward together.
Because the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral, please come forward to deliver his remarks. The
Special guest of honor, His Excellency, the Executive State, Haji Yahya, the Honorable Minister of Defense, represented by the Director, Navy Minister of Defense, Mr. Fashino Kayo de Julius, the former Chief of the Naval Staff and icon of the Nigerian Navy, and Chairman Niwa Board, my mentor, and to all the naval officers here present, Vice Admiral Ishaya Iko Ibrahim, Commander Federal Republic, the Chief of Army Staff ably represented by the Commander Army Records, General Ali, the Managing Director, National Inland Waterways Authority, Mr. Joe Alo, the Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Export-Import Bank, Mr. Abubakar Abbabello, the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Mrs. Folashade Enrique Ayoade, Chief of Staff, Pharmacist, Abdul Karim Jamil Asuku, State Security Advisor, Commander Jerry Omodara retired, our own, Executive Chairman Ajaokuta Local Government Area, Prince Mustapha Akaba, and other Executive Chairman of the 21 local government areas here present, His Royal Highness Alhaji Salu Adaji Ocholu, the first class honor and district head of Itobe Land and other royal fathers present, hydrographer of the Navy, directors from naval headquarters here present, commanders of paramilitary agencies, chairperson, Sealing Promotional Company Limited, the regional manager, Anglophone West African Export-Import, other captains of industry here present, good people of Ajaokuta community, other senior officers here present, officers, members of the 4th Estate of the Realm, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I have to go to call the protocol list so that all of us here will be eminently recognized. I apologize for any lacuna or name of the entity that has not been mentioned. Good afternoon. I am really delighted to address you all on this important and historic occasion of the flag off ceremony of the hydrographic survey campaign of the lower rivers, Niger and Benue, jointly executed by the Nigerian Navy, Nigeria Export-Import Bank, and National Inland Waterways Authority. It may be recalled that since the pre-colonial era to the present time, rivers Niger and Benue, as well as their tributaries, have remained and will continue to remain preeminently important part of the socio-economic, cultural, and historic heritage of Nigeria. This is particularly true as so many fishing communities rely on these rivers for their livelihoods, while others use sail as a medium to transport goods and people from one part of the country to the other. Similarly, during the colonial era, these rivers served as major economic enablers that effectively supported the British administration. However, despite the huge economic potentials offered by rivers Niger and Benue, Nigeria is yet to put these rivers to maximum use, due mainly to lack of their systematic survey and charting. This has made it difficult for cabotage vessels to convey huge stockpile of solid minerals from the hinterland to the sea in support of Nigeria's economic growth and diversification. Furthermore, the inability of mariners to make maximum use of rivers Niger and Benue has also created a huge logistics gap, not only within Nigeria but across the West African sub-region. It is in realization of this that Nigeria Export-Import Bank decided to leverage on President Muhammadu Buhari's Presidential Economic Diversification Initiative, PEDI for short, to partner with the Nigerian Navy and National Inland Waterways Authority to systematically survey and chart the lower rivers Niger and Benue. This is with a view to producing internationally acceptable nautical charts that will improve inland waterways navigation through rivers Niger and Benue in order to bridge existing infrastructural gaps to support the transportation of goods and people from the hinterland to the sea, leveraging on already considered inland port facilities. This will no doubt support Nigeria's economic diversification program as envisioned by Mr. President Commander-in-Chief, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic. In this regard, I want to assure that the Nigerian Navy, on whose shoulders lie the production of navigation charts and coordination of all national hydrographic surveys in Nigeria, will conduct this survey and produce accompanying charts that complies with best international nautical charting standard. As you are aware, the Nigerian Navy has completed the survey and charting of Lagos Harbour, Ikorodu Channel, and part of Badagry Creek from Tinkan Island to Ogunkobo Village. These charts are already being used by mariners to safely navigate the aforementioned areas in support of Nigeria's maritime trade and national economic development. Let me use this opportunity to also notify that the newly acquired Nigerian Navy Hydrographic Survey vessel, NNS Lana, has already commenced survey operations in Nigeria's offshore waters, beginning with the approaches to Lagos Harbour. This is in addition to the ongoing survey campaign of Lagos and Lekki lagoons currently being undertaken by the Nigerian Navy through the Nigerian Navy Hydrographic Office. These efforts will surely lead to the production of additional indigenous charts for Nigeria that meet set international charting standards. Accordingly, the process will help the country to replace old and inaccurate charts that are over 100 years old, which are nevertheless being used for marine navigation within Nigeria's maritime environment. Therefore, the completion of the survey and charting of rivers Niger and Benue, together with other ongoing Nigerian Navy survey campaigns within Nigeria's offshore and littorals, are clear indications of the current whole-of-government approach towards building a national hydrographic capacity for Nigeria towards improving maritime security and safety, as well as the prosperity, economic development, and general welfare of Nigerians. On this note, I want to thank the federal government of Nigeria through the Ministry of Defense for developing the capacity of the Nigerian Navy to improve maritime safety and security in the nation's maritime domain, as well as enhance its national security and economic prosperity through improved capacity for effective national hydrographic service delivery. I also wish to assure the federal government and the good people of Nigeria that the Nigerian Navy is adequately poised to open up all navigable routes within Nigeria's maritime space for improved economic activities through carefully planned systematic surveys and charting programs that would be executed jointly with all relevant stakeholders. I also want to thank the management of Nigeria Export-Import Bank for facilitating this laudable project, which clearly demonstrates their passion and commitment to leverage the bank's mandate to bridge current funding gaps towards facilitating sustainable national development. We thank you greatly. Before I conclude, let me thank my friend, the MD National Inland Waterways Authority, who sees the Nigerian Navy as a partner in this project and provided all the support within his powers to ensure the smooth conduct of Nigerian Navy survey operation. We thank you greatly. I assure the MD that the Nigerian Navy will continue to partner with National Inland Waterways Authority and other relevant stakeholders to provide the needed hydrographic services required by mariners to conduct their legitimate activities within Nigeria's maritime domain in a safe and secure atmosphere. To the host communities along the riverbanks, I implore you all to take this project as a golden opportunity, because it will impact positively on your collective and individual security as well as socio-economic development. To the joint survey team, I wish you fair winds and safe survey operations. Be assured that the Nigerian Navy will avail you all the support to deliver on this very important mandate. On this note, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to our distinguished invited guests, especially the Executive Governor of Kogi State, for gracing this occasion. I wish you all safe journey to various destinations where you're from. Thank you, God bless us all, and onward together. Thank you.
area to get into the sea. And so, as it stands now, once this ceremony is over, all the missionaries will be sent in motion to capture data with this group. Thank you.
No access. Where is the access? It's right. Don't go behind this line. Go behind this line. Yes.
They are just they are mounting their survey. The survey equipment there are many, but what they are putting now is Africa. That is going to house the echo sounder and the information and the position information. Other equipment.
See, watch your back, watch your steps. Watch your steps there.
The depth of water and the picture of the sea bottom are also on board. They have just cast off.
Left from the rest.
The first boat have just cast off. Special guests upon us, how you may wish to note that during survey, boats or ships do not go at average speed. They go at what is called survey speed, which is much lower than the normal speed, so that the equipment will be able to capture the data in standard accuracy. So that boat has commenced the survey operation. The other one is still reading its equipment. And we soon complete.
So watch your back.
As I was saying, that there are also other equipment that will capture the picture of the seabed to know the nature of the soil there and whether there are underwater obstruction. Once there are underwater obstruction, that is what the chairperson Sylvain was saying. The special equipment will come to remove the head, which of course where the master will come. The data they will capture will also include the bridge. So every bridge along the way, they will capture the height, the clearance, and give the minimum clearance clearance to mariners. Ships that will pass there. Yes, sir. The second boat have just completed and has turned to commence its home part of the survey area.
As they move now, they have food, everything, or they go and come back.
Photographer says now
Security.
yes, that provides security to this covered team. Yes, sir, that security from the Navy.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Group photo.
Office, the traditional Africa. We're ready, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Can we proceed for the next?
The representative of the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, retired, Mr. Kayode Fashina, Director Navy, the representative of the Honorable Minister of Transport, retired Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, which is the former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral I. Ibrahim, representative of the Chief of Defense Staff, Vice Admiral A.Z. Gambo, who doubles as the Chief of Naval Staff, the Managing Director, National Inland Waterways, our own Mr. George Mogalu, Managing Director and CEO, Nigeria Export-Import Bank, Abubakar Abba Bello, Deputy Speaker, Kogi State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Ahmed Muhammad, the Secretary to the Government of Kogi State, Dr. Mrs. Ayowade Folashade Arike, the Chief of Staff, Pharmacist Muhammad Abdul Karim Muhammad Jamiu Asuku, the State Security Advisor, Navy Commander Jerry Omodara, retired, Commander, NNS Lugard Base, Lokoja, Commander Clement Atebi, and all other heads of security agencies in Kogi State, the Chairperson, Seedlings Consortium, the Chairman, Ajaokuta Local Government, Prince Mustafa Akaba, and all other local government chairmen here present, all the honorable commissioners, political appointees, and top government functionaries here present, traditional rulers, and other leaders of thoughts here present, members of the Joint Survey Team of the Nigerian Navy and National Inland Waterways authorities, other critical stakeholders, other esteemed invited guests, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please, before I proceed on my prepared speech, let me sincerely and profoundly appreciate God Almighty at all times. But this is a dream come true in our lifetime. This is a promise made by our father and our leader, President Muhammadu Buhari, to fulfill his promise of ensuring that the rivers Niger and Benue are dredged. The commercial activities that ought to have been taking place in this area takes place, in ensuring that the economy of the North and that of the country is revived, in ensuring that the security of lives and livelihood, rebuilding our infrastructure, all these promises are being kept by this singular activity. On behalf of the people of Kogi State, on behalf of the downtrodden, and on behalf of Nigerians, both North and South, President Muhammadu Buhari, we appreciate you greatly. And let me especially appreciate the chairperson of Sealing Consortium, our dear sister. You made a very wonderful and very profound presentation, brief presentation here. And sincerely speaking, it means that those of us that are giving the proper place for women in governance, we're not making mistake. On behalf of the people of Kogi State and the government, we appreciate you a great deal. You have indeed made the women folk proud today. I am still thinking in my mind, possibly, and it's not far from the truth, that probably a woman will accompany me to that highest place in the next future. It is with great delight that I welcome you to this historic flag-off ceremony of joint hydrographic survey campaign of the lower rivers Niger and Benue, undertaken by Nigeria Export-Import Bank PLC in partnership with Nigerian Navy and National Inland Waterways Authorities. As we are all aware, the federal government of Nigeria have, under the Presidential Economic Diversification Initiative, introduced several policies and programs aimed at diversifying Nigeria's economy, as well as improving the welfare, security, and prosperity of Nigerian citizens. It is on the strength of this initiative that Nigeria Export-Import Bank has entered into partnership with the Nigerian Navy and National Inland Waterways Authority, as well as other relevant stakeholders, to bridge critical logistics infrastructure gaps, to facilitate movement of bulk cargoes, raw materials from the hinterland through inland waters to the sea. The first step of this effort is what we are witnessing today: the survey and charting of rivers Benue and Niger. These rivers have remained one of the most critical natural assets that hold good prospects for economic diversification in Nigeria. This is because at the end of this survey and charting project, various inland and river ports along the coast that have hitherto become moribund will be reactivated. This will provide well over 2 million direct and indirect jobs, increasing economic viability of these ports, and ultimately reduce pressure on our roads as bulk cargoes from the hinterland will be transported by sea rather than through the roads. Mr. President is fixing the roads within the limited resources. And in order to protect the roads, here we are developing our inland waterways. Mr. President, once again, we appreciate you. Also, the successful opening of these rivers for navigation will accelerate the takeoff of already considered inland ports and export processing zones. This will facilitate the handling of bulk import from the coastal areas and the export of solid minerals and agricultural produce from the hinterland. Furthermore, nautical charts and other publications to be produced from this survey will support maritime security agencies to mobilize resources at the critical place and time of choice for the attainment of set national security objectives. Thus, the ceremony we are all gathered here today to witness is yet another testament to the resolve of the federal government towards evolving comprehensive mechanism to employ sustainable infrastructure through public-private partnership collaboration. I, therefore, have no doubt in my mind that the Nigerian Navy, in collaboration with Nigeria Inland Waterway Authority, will do a good job that meets mariners' needs towards enhancing maritime activities along rivers Niger and Benue, from Lokoja to Burutu. It is on this note that I urge all the various stakeholders to seize this golden and historic opportunity to work harmoniously and assiduously towards the completion of this important national survey within the shortest possible time. To the management of the Nigeria Export-Import Bank PLC, I wish to say a very big thank you for having the courage to undertake this important task. And let me at this point equally urge all other developmental banks and partners to undertake several such risk but very profitable and high impact projects in this country, if actually we mean to develop this country. I wish to assure you of the federal government will do everything within its powers to provide the necessary support to ensure successful completion of this project. To the state governments of Edo, Delta, Anambra, Rivers, and Bayelsa states that are contiguous to the lower rivers Niger and Benue, I wish to solicit for your full support and cooperation to this historic and important federal government effort towards improving the lives of our respective citizens. To the local community leaders and other local authorities, I wish to assure you that the opening of the Niger would in no way tamper with your ancestral beliefs, culture and traditions, but rather it will be a golden opportunity to eradicate poverty as well as improving the welfare and prosperity of our local communities. In other words, we have our local beliefs. We have our traditional beliefs along the waters. We have gods and goddesses in the water and along the water. The dredging of the river Niger will not in any way temper with these our beliefs. Let us support this all-important activity. It will rather enhance and make our ancestors and our gods to be happy and be pleased with us. Therefore, I urge you all to heartily support this initiative, as your community will definitely be primary beneficiaries of this great enterprise. By the time ship, barges, vessels are passing by or sailing through movement of goods and services, you will see the benefit. Your communities will begin to witness, you see at least, you'll be seeing Oyibo men and women passing by. You will see gigantic ship that is as big as a house, if not bigger than a house, passing by. Some generations have never witnessed it, except those that live in the rivers or in coastal areas. You begin to be able to transport your products from your farm to Obodo Oyibo land. And that's when they will be able to recognize that we are indeed very industrious and we're productive. To the Nigerian Navy and its hydrographic department, I wish to advise you to perform your duty creditably in accordance with international best practices, as the nation has indeed saddled you with an enormous responsibility, which you must discharge to the best of your ability. I trust our able Chief of Naval Staff. Let me congratulate you that during your time, this wonderful and laudable project is being undertaken. Indeed, your name will be written in gold. Congratulations once again. I have no doubt in my mind that you are willing, able, and capable of discharging this very wonderful responsibility. Your recent production of internationally accepted paper and electronic navigational chart of parts of our waters, as well as efforts you are making to build human and material capacities, are enough evidence to ensure or assure mariners all over the world and other stakeholders that you have the requisite core competence to deliver on this set national objective. I'll use this opportunity once again to thank you, the Chief of Naval Staff, for your efforts so far to have your special forces base here in Kogi State. We have provided the land. We are providing you the COFO. I think it has been provided. And you have sent your Reiki. They've come to look at the place. And it's very suitable for the institution, for the training institution. We're looking forward, because in Kogi State here, we don't take security for granted. It will add and support all other security agencies here to keep Kogi State secure, to keep the North Central secure, and of course to keep the nation secure. So we're looking forward to that, my wonderful brother. And of course, to the Nigerian Inland Waterways authorities, I wish to salute your exemplary display of patriotism and courage for renewing the spirit of collaboration and cooperation with the Nigerian Navy towards the attainment of this lofty and historic national assignment. Of course, you couldn't have done anything less, because you are a go-getter. You are a team player. You are an achiever. And you are actually displaying and proving that you worth the appointment. You want to be selected by President Muhammadu Buhari. to lead the way. To all the other stakeholders and attendees here today, I say a very big thank you for taking time to be part of this epoch-making ceremony. On this note, I have the singular honor and privilege to formally flag off this commencement of the hydrographic survey and charting campaign of the lower rivers Niger and Benue from Lokoja to Burutu, undertaken by Nigeria Export-Import Bank PLC in collaboration with the Nigerian Navy and Nigeria Inland Waterways Authority. I wish you fair winds, calm rivers. Even if the river decides to be stubborn, we'll calm him down. And the Godspeed throughout the duration of your survey campaign operation. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I thank you all.
May we give him a standing ovation? Very important times, please.
Excellency, Alhaji Gayame, the governor of the chief of Salah South, Chief Dr. George Mohasi, the MD of Nestle Bank, Mr. Ababelo, and Chairperson of the Sea-Link Promotional Project, Mrs. W. Charles Alomchi. Please permit me to stand and existing protocols. I'm very delighted to be giving this vote of thanks today because the official flag off of this project, which has just taken place today, signifies the culmination of all Royal Highnesses that could find time to be here today, and every other distinguished guest. Thank you very much. I pray that the Almighty God will abide with us while we are on our way back. Thank you. I'm safe journey back home.
This is before.